I'd like to welcome everyone to the June 22nd regularly scheduled City Council meeting in the Linda Hartlaw Council Chambers. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, the Lord's Prayer, and a moment of silence for those serving and protecting our country.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Kate Belo.
Here.
Bart Phillips.
Here.
Lisa Sabodian.
Here.
Beth Gilman. Here. Roseanne Hickman.
Present.
Jerry Trolley.
Present.
Pat Hovis.
Here. Thank you. Council, you were emailed the June 8th, 2021 regular meeting minutes and the June 15th, 2021 special meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam President, I move to approve both.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. The chair notes that certification has been made regarding compliance with the rules and notifications of this meeting. We have no guest presentation and no public comment. Start with the executive officer's reports. First, just to update everyone, we are not going to try and do Zoom as a second option during the regular meeting regular meeting, just because the Wi-Fi is not that good here. So we will only be doing in person, and council has to be here anyways to be in the meetings per the governor's orders that will expire on June 30th. So just wanted to announce again, the public hearing for the zoning change is July 13th at 5 o'clock for the regular scheduled meeting. And then I just want everyone to have a happy 4th of July. That's all I have this evening. Mayor Snyder.
Thank you, Madam President. You may have noticed in addition to the room today that this is a beach chair that was provided to the city through the Ability Center. Those are the same folks out of Toledo that assisted with getting us the Moby mats. The one Moby mat was damaged during the storm, the great storm of Memorial Day weekend, but it's repaired and should be back in place any time now. This chair allows not only access onto the Moby mat, but actually access out onto the sand and into the water for those that choose. We're working out the details right now for reserving the chair. We thought we would keep it stored at the concession stand building, but it doesn't fit through the door. So we're working on Plan B right now. So if anybody, I'll put this out there, if anybody has a garage or knows of anyone in that neighborhood that wouldn't mind keeping that in their garage, we'll open that.
The Lighthouse Boathouse would be perfect.
We'll talk with them. We'll see what they say.
They should. That'd be nice.
We'll see what they say. The hope is that we can somehow involve the folks at the concession stand to be they call City Hall to make the reservation. City Hall informs the concession stand that Gabe Below is going to stop by at this time. They confirm it's Gabe Below, give you the chair, say bring it back by this time because that's when we close, and go from there. So, but I will speak with the Lighthouse folks. I had a phone call yesterday from Ferd Lohman, Lohman for the record, F-E-R-D, Ferd Lohman. You don't know Ferd. Ferd is the gentleman that organized the Fishing Walleye for Wounded Heroes event Saturday, when they had the escorted parade through town in the parachute at the high school, and then their private ceremony. There were over 100 wounded warriors, wounded heroes involved in that, and Ferd was just overwhelmed and wanted me to pass along his sincere gratitude from all of them that participate in that, on how how well the community turned out for that event. The number of people along Perry and Fulton Street blew everybody's expectations out of the water. So from Ferd and from me, thank you very much for everybody out in the community that participated in that event. They're definitely going to be coming back next year. It'll be the 10th year in the community. They're probably going to continue working with the school system to have their function there. In the past, they did everything out at Tall Timbers. So thank you to the community. Council, in front of you have a couple of different pieces of paper that I passed out. The first one is related to MOM, Meals on Madison, Music on Madison. A lot of people asking about the website. This QR code, quite simply, you open up your smartphone, maybe smarter than your phone, open up your camera, put the camera right over top of this QR code, a little thing will pop up, you tap it, and it takes you right to the website with all the entertainment and all the other activities happening. These are going up around town. It's posted on Facebook. If you'd be so kind as to share or take your copy and hand it to somebody. Meals on Madison has turned out, again, to exceed everyone's expectations. In the last 2.5 weeks, the Main Street group has sold over 17,000 Mora cups. They just placed another order for 30,000. You should see Nicole Kokensparger's office. It's a storage closet right at the moment with Mora cups. So every day there's another entity calling, hey, we want to participate some way or somehow. Wednesday was purposefully kept blank for entertainment because we thought this might happen. Wednesdays are now starting to fill up. So it's a neat thing. Lots of foot traffic downtown, all the merchants, everybody seemed to be very, very happy. The other form you have in front of you is Red, White, and Broom, the 4th of July festivities here in town. If you would, again, that's on Facebook. Please share this information. Starts in the morning with a 5K, the Voices of Freedom. They have a choir that's pushing 45, 50 people now. That's always a nice touch with Greg Fox and his group. And of course, everything will culminate with the fireworks at 10 p.m. at Waterworks Park. The final pamphlet that you have in front of you is talking about a car show. If you recall, during the COVID era, we started a honkabout where the car show came to you going through town with all of the precautions being lifted. They decided to go back to a standard car show. It'll be the third Thursday of every month from 5 to 8 in the 200 block of Madison Street. Same group that organized the honkabout is putting on this car show, again adding more activity in our downtown.
So we won't have the honkabout?
The honkabout is no more honking.
I'll tell you what, I had a lot of seniors.
A lot of folks love that. Yeah, it logistically and now with the restrictions, it just kind of makes sense to encourage people to come see the cars instead of the cars seeing them. So
That's good.
week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I can't remember exactly when it was, I was very fortunate enough to attend the Toledo Mud Hens baseball game with some friends. Actually, some of the ladies that I employ in my day job from Thailand. And it was the second day that capacity limits were lifted, and it was just neat to sit behind the dugout, smell the hot dogs, give high fives to the person next to me. I had no clue who it was. It was neat to be out and about. And that got me thinking, and Nicole Kokensparger and I earlier today had a conversation with the marketing department at the Toledo Mud Hens. And on Sunday, August 22nd, it's a 4 o'clock first pitch against the Indianapolis Indians. It'll be Port Clinton Day at Mud Hens Stadium, Fifth Third Field. We're working out all the details. Tickets will be $14, which is a discount over the standard. We'll be recognizing some individuals. The marching band has already agreed in part, not the whole band, but in part, to play the national anthem. We're going to reach out to another group from the school to see if they'll take me out to the ball game. It's just going to be kind of Port Clinton Day at Fifth Third Field. So again, that's going to be Sunday, August 22nd. At first pitch is at 4 p.m. You'll be able to buy individual tickets, or if you're a member of the Lions or Kiwanis or Rotary, we're going to see if they'll get group tickets. And obviously the Little League teams and so forth will encourage them. More information to come on that as it becomes available. On a piece of paper. Council, in front of you, you have the resolution dealing with the street levy. Mr. Gill will speak a little bit more to that a little bit later about some action that was taken earlier today in their committee. I thank them for doing what they're doing, and we'll talk about that. Again, this is just a continuation of something we've been talking about for the past couple of years, and we talked about this in the committee, but Mr. Colson and I are continuously being asked when the street's going to get paved, when the street's going to get paved. There's potential for an amendment to the resolution you see in front of you to address some of the issues along Lakeshore Drive, and we can talk about that when it comes to it. And then certainly not last, but last on my list, Chief Hickman. 1987 was a long time ago. I was a sophomore in high school. Gas was about 79 cents a gallon, and you started off in the Port Clinton Police Department. That's a heck of a long time to be in one career, and just saying thank you isn't enough. Given today's climate and some thoughts towards law enforcement, you have been a tremendous asset to our community, an example that those coming up the ranks can look towards. You're passing off a department to the individual to your right in much better shape than it was handed to you, which it should be, and the anticipation is that he'll do the same to the person that follows him. Again, thank you isn't enough for what you do, so I'm going to start the standing ovation. One more Monday. Madam President, that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you. You're a little longer than me tonight.
She said I was longer than her.
Tonight. Auditor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Chief Hickman, I want to thank you. You've been a true companion during our adventures here, and even more so our friends. I appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Treasurer's report.
Madam President, I'd like to say I'm happy to be here.
Welcome back.
Been gone for quite a while. I have some reports for the bed tax and the dock tax, but before I give those numbers, I want to say a big thank you to Sandy and to Dina, because with their help, the numbers are up quite a bit, because they scared the people more than I could. When you threaten someone with a lawsuit, it's better than just saying, please do it.
You had a rolling pin.
It's working much better now. The bed tax to date, $29,900.28. The dock tax to date, $12,575.
Thank you. Law Director?
Thank you, Madam President. Chief Hickman, thank you. I kind of late in the game towards the end of your career, but you've been very helpful to me for the last year during COVID and everything else. I really want to thank you, and I really hope you enjoy your retirement. I have nothing else, Madam President.
Thank you. Supervisor's reports. Mr. Colson.
There's that pothole.
In the May Fund.
That's my fault too. So, no, just one thing to let everybody know, the senior center is back open again. So they are doing their meals on the normal days that the county does it. And they've worked out with us to come to the police department to get the key to go do that stuff. Playing cards and dominoes again. And, we don't let them have food and things in there from that perspective on our time. But it's been good. And they return. So just so you know, they get the key from the police department and then open it and bring it back. So they sign out the keys. And Robbie, that's great. It's been a long little journey.
Yes, it is.
Grew up in the same neighborhood, so it's been. Oh, we're pretty old now, so probably 40 plus years. Well, thanks for everything you do.
Thank you.
And then we'll do Chief Hickman.
All right, first off, City Council, thank you so much for the 10 plus years that you have dealt with me. I apologize if I offended anybody through that, but no, my intentions were always positive for the department and for the city. You supported us. I hope you continue that support under the new leadership. Now, that being said, he spent most of his career on midnights kind of like I did. So Dave Scott is your new chief. He's currently a sergeant. Dave came to us in 2004, so he's been here for quite some time. He was promoted to sergeant in 2012. The last 2 weeks, I told him I was going to give him 2 weeks. I pretty much gave him maybe 4 days, but my phone is always on. Dave Scott, your next chief of police.
Thank you, Rob, for everything. I'm sure I'll probably see you more than most of these people.
She sleeps with them too,
I know, right?
This last time you can put that in bold and.
Oh, shoot. Where's Wes?
Yeah.
Register.
Yeah.
So you're wrong, Jerry.
Is there anything you'd like to add, Dave?
No.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Mr. Bealow, Finance.
The Finance Committee met today and took some action on the 2 resolutions coming up. We'll talk about those on the 3rd reading portion of the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, Economic and Community Development.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Environment and Public Works.
Nothing to report, Madam President.
Safety Services, Ms. Phillips.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Arts and Culture, Ms. Gilman.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. We have no correspondence. We will move on to readings of ordinances and resolutions. We have a 3rd reading on Resolution 21-2. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, Resolution 21-2?
Resolution number 21-2, a resolution submitting to the electors of the city the question of the renewal of an existing 1.9 mil tax levy for the purpose of providing and maintaining fire apparatus, appliances, buildings, or sites therefore, or sources of water supply and materials therefore, or the establishment and maintenance of lines of fire, fire alarm, telegraph, or the payment of permanent, part-time, or volunteer firefighters or firefighting companies to operate the same, including the payment of firefighter employees, contribution required under section 742.34 of the revised code, or the purchase of ambulance equipment, or the provisions of ambulance, paramedic, or other emergency medical services operated by a fire department or firefighting company and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to Resolution 21-2 this evening?
Madam President.
Mr. Bealow.
Move to retain the emergency clause in Resolution 21.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, would the clerk please read the, call the roll. Let's think again. Call the roll.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Lisa Sabodian.
Yes.
Roseanne Hickman.
It's tough to hear tonight.
Sorry. Pat Hovis.
Yes.
And David. Bealow.
Yeah.
I think it's a vote.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Well, you started this.
Where'd you know that?
We're all at the same place.
CJ, you have nothing to worry about. You're pretty laid back.
We're all even.
Okay. Thank you. Motion carries 7-0, and the emergency clause is retained as to Resolution 21-2. Does council wish to take any further action as to Resolution 21-2?
Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Bealow.
Move to adopt Resolution 21-2.
I will second that.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Any discussion?
Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Bealow.
Finance Committee met earlier today and recommended 3-0 adoption of the resolution.
Thank you. Any further discussion, questions? Okay, seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll as to Mr. Below's motion to adopt Resolution 21-2, seconded by Ms. Phillips.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Gabe Bealow.
Yes.
Roseanne Hickman.
Yes.
Lisa Sabodian.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Resolution 21-2 is hereby adopted. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only Resolution 21-4?
Resolution 21-4, a resolution declaring it necessary to enact a 3.6 mil tax levy and requesting that Ottawa County Auditor to certify the total current tax valuation of the city and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by that levy pursuant to section 5705.19 of the revised code and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to Resolution 21-4?
Madam President,
Mr. Bealow.
I move to amend Resolution 21-4 by striking throughout 3.6 mil and replacing throughout with 4.0 mil.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Bealow.
I think all members of council received a paper copy of the amendment, so you can see it. We discussed this at the Finance Committee meeting earlier today. This was also recommended 3-0. The gentleman in the front to talk about what that is and why they think that's justified.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Beal, Madam President. This all relates back to Lake Shore Drive and the issues that arose from the storm over Memorial Day weekend. It wasn't anticipated in the initial discussion and plans to get to the 3.6. The resolution to the problem along Lake Shore Drive would involve replacing the revetment, which is something we've already been discussed and plans are moving Lake Shore Drive from just west of Mr. Ed's about 5 to 6 feet south, and then that gap that would be created, putting a hard surface over top of that. That's estimated by Pogomar Design Group to be approximately $1 million. The difference between 3.6 and 4 is that $1 million that would be generated through the levy. Not putting the hard surface would still allow for erosion. That hard surface could be used as a walking trail, a bike trail. There was even some strange talk about parking in that area. But that's the reasoning behind the adjustment. I have, and it went to Finance Committee, and I'm sorry it didn't get sent around. The one common question is what does the mills equate to in dollars and cents? For the $100,000 home, 3.6 mils is $10.50 per month. For a 4 mil, it's $11.67, so an additional $1.17. Now, keep in mind, the average, $100,000 is always what's discussed. The average non-residential, or excuse me, the average non-condo residential dwelling in the city of Port Clinton has an average assessed value of $82,613. So in real terms, that average for the 3.6 is 8.67, up to the 4 is 9.64. So less than $1 difference for that average non-residential or non-condo residential dwelling in the city of Port Clinton. I had another thought in there, and it just escaped me. So if I think of it, I'll shout it out. But again, the purpose for going from 3.6 to 4 is to harden Lakeshore Drive so it doesn't fall into the lake, for lack of a better term. This will also put additional ammunition into our pocket to push the utility company to move those poles from the north side to the south side of Lakeshore Drive. Did I miss anything?
Okay, talked about earlier.
Mr. Mayor, do you have an average cost of a condo, value of a condo?
$133,000. I didn't do the math, but we can talk about that later.
Further discussion?
Might you have offhand the balance of condo dwellings versus non-condo dwellings within the city?
I think there are 711 condos in town.
Further discussion? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion to amend Resolution 21-4 by striking throughout the 3.6 mil and replacing it throughout with
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Gabe Velo.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Resolution 21-4 is hereby amended. Does council wish to take any further action as to Resolution 21-4 as amended?
Madam President,
Mr. Bealow.
I move to retain the emergency clause of Resolution 21
Thank you. Do I have a second?
as amended.
I will second.
Thank you. Mrs. Hickman. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, motion by Mr. Bealow, seconded by Mrs. Hickman, to retain the emergency clause as to Resolution 21-4 as amended. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Lisa Sabodian.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Gabe Velo.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Roseanne Hickman. Yes. Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Martin Phillips.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 7-0. The emergency clause is hereby retained as to Resolution 21-4 as amended. Does council wish to take any further action as to Resolution 21-4 as amended?
Madam President,
Mr. Bealow.
I move to adopt Resolution 21-4 as amended.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Bealow. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Bealow.
Council, when this passes, it follows the same pathway that Resolution 21-2 did, that will lead to a ballot question on the November ballot, just like the fire levy, except would be the road levy. So, the electors in the city will ultimately decide if this is something that they want or not. Just stating the obvious in case there are any questions.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions by council? Okay, seeing none. We have a motion by Mr. Bealow, seconded by Mr. Troy, to adopt Resolution 21-4 as amended. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Roseanne Hickman.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Gabe Velo.
Yes.
Lisa Sabodian.
Yes.
And Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 7-0. Resolution 21-4 as amended is hereby adopted. And we have no second readings and no first readings. We'll move on to business from the floor. Mr. Trolley.
Yeah, just a couple of things, Madam President. First and foremost, Rob, thank you. That's all I can say. I can't remember which meeting it was. We were discussing the bed and breakfast taxes, not taxes, but the increase in bed and breakfast in town. It's been before COVID. We talked about it.
Oh, trying to find
Find new ones.
find new
How are we doing? I mean, I know Edna said you guys, have you increased the number of bed and breakfasts in town?
It's the bed tax.
Yes, right, that's what I mean.
The transient occupancy tax.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I didn't mean bed and breakfast. I'm sorry.
Ms. Ostheimer has been diligently searching the VRBO website and other websites to try to find people who are actively advertising.
Right.
And when she finds one, I send them a letter advising them that we know that they are actively advertising in the city and that they need to register their whichever condo or home they are advertising and start paying the taxes. And we're asking them to go back to January of 2021 to get them current.
Has it increased? I mean, the number?
It has. We have, she's found quite a bit, and the letters have been helping. So we start with a soft letter to introduce them to Portland, and then they get a second letter, which advises them what they need to do. So that's been helping. Also, with regards to the talks that we had about a potential website, the county potential things is still on hold. I think COVID really kind of put a damper on everything. We're looking at other cities, seeing what other cities are doing. We're seeing what Sandusky's doing, what Huron's doing. They're giving us a lot of good ideas as to what Portland can do in the future. And hopefully we can all get back together with the county and the different cities in the future and discuss whether we can move forward with this venture or whether we're okay with what we're doing right now. But we are
There's also legislation at the state level that's addressing bed tax collection that will impact what we do in reaching out to the folks that aren't collecting. So as soon as that gets passed, that's being pushed by the County Commissioners Association. And as soon as that gets adopted at the state level, that will help in what Mrs. Shanker's doing.
Mr. Mayor, the local land bank, can you let us know what's going on there?
I know that they have a couple of properties in the works. I know at least one on 4th Street in the city. There might be a second one. I can confirm and get that information to you.
Okay, they do have money to purchase.
Yep. It's a two-year
Because it
process.
stopped, right? Didn't it?
Well, it was, because of,
COVID?
any foreclosures
Stopped,
with the
right,
COVID,
right, I
everything
understand
stopped and
that.
was put on hold. so.
Right. Okay, that's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Mrs. Bullion?
Just to say formally, thank you for your years of service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Phillips?
Thank you, Madam President. I spent a lot of the weekend in parts, hour here, 2 hours there, just walking around town and just carrying on a conversation with anybody who felt like saying anything. I was kind of interested in what people thought of downtown, thought of not only downtown, but extending out away from the city itself and about the improvements. Didn't hear any complaints. These were from the out-of-towners who felt it was comfortable and they could speak and people talked to them. So I also asked some locals who had some work done, and these were people in 25 to 40. And I asked how they felt about what was going on, what was going wrong with the city. That's why I put it as the first. Nobody could think of anything, but I said, what do you think of the streets? Well, it had cost, but it's going to look nice when it's finished and go on down the line. So I think we're on the right track here. The next thing, he knows. Chief Hickman, I will always remember you for as long as my red skin plastic wastebasket is still available in my house. I have it. What year did you graduate? 81?
1980.
I was close. And I still have it because I don't throw things away. I just use them. And then I also, are you ever going to turn in an English book you took home with you?
You keep asking me about it. I'm clueless. So bill me. I'll write you a check.
I'll bill you. Thank you. That is all.
Thank you. Well, Mrs. Hickman?
Nothing tonight, then. Thank you, Rob.
She'll see more of you tonight. Ms. Owens?
Rob, I've told you before that whenever I see you, I feel like everything's going to be okay. I respect you and I appreciate you, and I hope to feel the same way with your predecessor.
Thank you, and you will. I have the utmost faith.
Thank you. And nothing else.
Thank you. Mrs. Gilman?
And Rob, I want to thank you. It's been an honor to work with you on council, all the reports you give us, the thorough data, the communication, the emails. It's been wonderful, and I'm sure Officer Scott will do just one. Sergeant Scott, I don't know the appropriate term. Future Chief Scott will do. Future Chief, I'm not quite sure we'll do an equally wonderful job. It's just been great to have you, as an active community leader at football games and fundraisers. And it's just been an honor. And like Pat said, we don't always know everything's okay when Chief's around. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing you in retirement. I will assist you. We can bug you more. So thank you.
Talk to the chief.
Won't that be nice to say?
One more Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Beal?
Thank you, Madam President. Rob, congratulations, and I wish you and Roseanne the best in your retirement. Perhaps, I don't know if Roseanne's retiring anytime soon, but I wish you both the best in the future. So,
Thank you.
enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further business, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam President, I move this August body adjourned.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries, we're adjourned.